All right.
Okay, thank
To
you,
proceed
Lynn.
to the next one. Again, please don't forget how to register yourself on the Slido back again. And then the next presenter coming in is from our own Hospital Sungai Buloh, Dr. Azlin. She is currently on a second year subspecialty in trauma training, and she's going to present soon. All right, Dr. Azlin, when you're ready.
Right. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat petang. Okay, saya tengok semua orang bergembira session yang sebelum ni. Terima kasih cikgu. So, saya just proceed with the last lecture of the day. So, saya akan bercakap tentang MTR Trauma Outcome Analysis. So, this is basically kita nak buat sedikit sebanyak tentang apa yang kita boleh lakukan dengan MTR data kita lah. Right. So from the morning we start with this MTR overview, MTR data entry, what is the workflow, and after that we they explain about data safety and security, data audit, and the quality. And tadi sesi sangat interaktif, AIS coding. So with all this data, you dah enter, you dah bagi coding, so you have a lot of data. So apa kita nak buat dengan data-data ni? So this is the time where we want to analyze this data. So dalam MTR, what we want to aim is how you going to improve your trauma management ataupun trauma care that you can give to your patients using the data that we already entered. So as you all know, data ni memang kita masukkan from hospital to hospital. But yet, in the later, in the further future, we would like to do a study. So we go to the right channel like MMR and request to MIHDW and so on. So what do we do with all this stuff? Sebab apa? Sebab setiap patient, trauma cases adalah different ya. Setiap patient adalah berbeza, and they may have a similar injuries. But dalam diagnosis ni sama, dalam your punya AIS coding sama, but the outcome might be different, isn't it? So we have to tie all these cases together and in order to improve our trauma care. But then how do we do it? Usually it's through discussion. So in this trauma outcome analysis, actually we want to sedikit banyak beritahu overall lah, not into details of macam mana kita nak pilih from this data which case to be discussed, ataupun one question you can answer is which case is considered to be wasting of time to be discussed, kan? Right? And another one probably pesakit yang case-case macam, so adakah kita nak discuss semua mortality case in our department? Of course not. Right. So before we go that, what we call as a quality control, so ada yang kita akan tell you about the bit of a sejarah lah. For in the kurun 19 atau 19th century, this it was called as medical audit. Down toward in 80s, it was called as total quality management, and 20 years down now, which is now we call it as a quality improvement ataupun QI. So the trauma quality improvement program is actually used to improve the process of the care of the trauma patient, and also we like to do it because we want to decrease the mortality with the things that we know that we can extrapolate from the discussion or improvement measure that we do, and this is also used to actually to improve other patients' outcome, which is those patients who tak datang lagi ke hospital kita nak improve cara kita manage pesakit-pesakit ni so that dia punya outcome pun akan automatically improve. So macam mana pun trauma outcome analysis juga bergunalah untuk developing a nationwide trauma benchmark. So means that we put it instead of just at the level of your only ED, you do it like daily basis or monthly basis or yearly basis just to do for your emergency department or in your own state. Why not? We bring this to the to bring it to the as a benchmark for the whole national, right? And also it's useful to evaluate our EMS system, our hospital system, and also trauma system, system and on its patient's outcome. And another one thing that is useful for actually is good for cultivating positive culture of appreciating good efforts that we actually manage to manage to do for these patients. So trauma quality, actually mana-mana quality improvement program is actually about closing the loop. And it started with the data gathering and monitoring. We identify the preventable slide tak ada. Oh, okay. Maaf, saya tengok sekejap, saya tak share the slide. Oh, nampaknya saya kena ulang balik semula. Maafkan atas kesilapan saya. Sekejap ya. Ada dua. Alright, so macam mana? Shall we start? Okay. Kita start balik tapi I will expedite the things sebab tadi macam shock sendiri. Okay, so again, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat petang. So can you see my slide?
Yes, Dr. Azlin can see your slide. Perfect.
Okay, alright, all slide. Alright, it's okay. So now going to talk about the trauma outcome analysis with all the data yang kita dah kumpul banyak-banyak tadi ya, and all the AIS scoring interaction session yang kita lalui tadi bersama Cikgu Atika. So just want to show you the things that we did did it whole day today. So the NTR overview, data entry workflow, and then kita discuss pasal data safety and security, data audit and quality, and last tadi AIS coding. And after all this data dah dimasukkan dalam NTR entry, so what we do with all this abundance of data, so it comes the time for us to do a trauma outcome analysis. So masa saya cakap tadi, apa kita nak buat dengan data-data ni? So ada banyak kegunaannya, and one of it actually what we want to select which cases to be discussed. So by using an NTR, actually we can help you in terms of selecting a type of cases ataupun type of cases that can be discussed in order for you to improve your performance. So this is just a version. So tadi tak nampak slide, so sekarang dah nampak slide. So it started with medical audit in kurun ke-19, 19th century, and 80 years down the line, it changed the name to total quality management. And 20 years down to that, we call it as a quality improvement. So in NTR, we have one subset yang kita panggil sebagai trauma quality improvement program, which actually used to help us to improve our process of care of managing the trauma, especially in this NTR lah. And of course, it's also helped us to reduce the mortality rate for the whole hospital, or even for the state, or even the national. And we also beneficial for us to actually improve other patient outcome. Those patient tak datang lagi, so bila kita dah membaharui atau perbaiki kita punya sistem, dan trauma quality program inilah yang boleh membantu improve patient punya outcome kalau pesakit datang dalam keadaan yang sama. So it's also useful untuk sebagai developing a nationwide trauma benchmark. So instead of just among your ED among your daerah or states, so why not we bring it to the trauma benchmark? So once we have all this data gathered, and we can actually do analysis so that it actually can help into improving our trauma care benchmark to the international level. And this is also useful to evaluate our EMS, our hospital trauma care, and also the trauma system of the and look at the patient outcome. Another one thing actually good in this trauma QI improvement program ni, because kita nak cuba cultivating a positive culture of appreciating good efforts. So why I'm saying this is one I will tell you later. So bila kita cakap pasal trauma quality improvement program, it's about closing the loop. Closing the loop means it's satu pusingan yang besar. So it start with data gathering and monitoring. So we look at the data, we monitor the data, and probably we can detect some audit filters or some flyers which is tak normal ke apa, that we pick. Right. So in these cases, we identify the preventable trauma death and also other issue of the quality care. It can be because of the lantai ke, lampu ke, or the system itself. Okay. Or it can be a human resource as well. And evaluation, then after that, it goes into the evaluation of the preventable factors. So we evaluate these factors. Adakah dia acceptable or actually is not acceptable. And after that, you analyze the findings. Okay, and with that, you give a recommendation to improve your care. So, how does quality improvement program ni become deficient? Maksudnya, bila kita buat MTR, kita isi MTR semua ni, tapi dia become deficient, tak cukup. Okay. One is a lack of documentation. So, it's very important for us in the initial part as a because kita dalam ED, emergency department, so we have to ensure that our documentation when we saw this patient atau we manage a patient, simple patient trauma ke, patient medical ke, you have to document it properly. So as you can see, from your training from latihan AIS kita tadi, so simple history, kalau tak cukup finding, tak cukup ni, then you might have a wrong scoring. Okay. So number 2 is a lack adherence to the protocol. Number 3 is a lack of attendance to the regular quality improvement conference. And last but not least is a lack of utilization of existing trauma registry to support your quality improvement program. So meanwhile, you already isi data, but we didn't actually put an effort to actually analyze our data. So tak dapat outcome, tak dapat analysis, so tak ke mana kita punya, just isi data saja. So it's very important for us actually to fikir daripada sekarang on how what kind of analysis that you would like to do ataupun research you like to do in order for you to improve the care of trauma in your center or even in your state or in your country. So there are many different techniques on the quality improvement program. So paling traditional adalah MNM, which is a mortality and morbidity conference. This is very basic quality improvement program technique. It's regularly done. Okay, ada orang buat monthly, ada orang buat 2 monthly. It depends, right? It does not happen in trauma. It happen in all other cases as well. But in this case, in MTRCs, we already have a data. So by all means, please do it regularly. And it's only involve the person who actually manage the patient or involved in the care. Okay, so means that those patient, those staff, doctors or medical officer or paramedics, staff nurse or AMOs, yang manage patient is being called to come and then discuss the case in the MNM conference. And most of the cases in the MNM is actually only a mortality cases. Itulah dia case morbidity kita tak discuss, right? Case mortality, and we try to find the reason, the cause of death, and we try to look at the complication, which actually we eventually decide whether this is a preventable or not preventable or probably preventable. Then we have a preventable death panel review. So in this one, it's actually a continuous from your it's not continuous, it's actually extension from the standard MNM process yang kita buat lah. Okay, so preventable death panels ni selalunya focus on the determination of preventability. Kita nak cara sama ada kita determine the cause atau things that we can prevent, and usually I'm not positioned to be the to make a judgment in terms of the complex process on the care itself. So klinik kitanya dia adalah sangat terang lagi bersuluh, dia tidak go into the complex, dia tak cerita benda-benda yang kompleks. So it's because on the usually select how the case will be selected. It discuss on the selected cases for death that are considered by the expert panels, by expert panels to have been preventable. So why is a panel review? It's not usually, sometimes it can involve a person actually taking care of a patient. Sometimes they just see a group of people who actually doesn't involve, but then they are experts in their own field. So they usually have a combined data that are relatively easily accessible, and usually they have one one coordinators who actually do the summary of abstracts. So mean that the expert doesn't really know about the patient. They retrieve the data and then by reading out the summary abstracts. So the sources of data can come from a hospital record, okay, his manual or from your registry or patient's autopsy reports, and sometimes they have a direct statements from the provider itself. So the next one I would like to highlight to you is the audit filter. So what is audit filters? So audit filter is a pre-identified variables with potential that cause unwanted outcome or when the standard of care does not meet. So these are the things yang kita panggil ting terkeluar, is flagged out in your center lah. So for example macam near miss blood temperature error, pernah dengar kan? Okay, or in the EMS we can say that fill scene more than 20 minutes. So this is like a flag. Oh, kenapa 20 minutes? Then we bring this as a case yang kita nak discuss. Or some extreme they put audit filter in the certain center, not all. Okay, GCS less than 8 and then no ETT or surgical error performed before leaving the research area. So another one example, probably you can have like surgical, from ED to OT time, like patient with the abdominal injuries and hypotension who do not go or did not undergo laparotomy within 1 hour or so. Yeah, this is just example. Can be different and it can be updated, of course. Okay, so this is actually the trauma outcome analysis yang kita belajar tadi lah. I think this same diagram is being shown by Dr. Rosman early in the morning. Okay, so AIS is okay. Data entry is start. Okay, after that we analyze and discard the injuries, and after that, as you all know just now, you learn about the ISS. So you kira dia punya injury severity. So from that you have a prognostication by a TRIS. And after that is a PS, is a probability of survival, where you actually put this as a quality assurance reviews. You put when you have the PS, you know which one of the cases that you actually probably case which is yang you boleh pilih untuk discuss in your quality assurance reviews. It can be your M&M, it can be your preventable death panels or anything else. Okay, and WS is a WS statistic. Certified W statistic, which actually we use it to measure performance and identify the outliers. Outlier macam cakap tadi lah, kalau dia performance at one level, you positive, it can be positive outliers, or it can be negative outliers. Okay, I will explain this later. Right. So all in all, with all this system, at the end of the day, it should bring your with two main purposes. Is to improve your system and to deliver a better care. So, macam cakap tadi kita dah practice kan tentang ISS, the injury severity score. So, it divide into this anatomical score, utilize AI system to create a summary score. So, it range from 1 to 75. Okay, tadi kita dah dengar dalam lecture. Okay, common perspective so selalunya kalau minor injury kita consider kalau less than 9. Moderate injuries 10 to 24 ataupun severe injuries you call as more than 25. So we can use this as your benchmark untuk pilih case-case. Contohnya, we pilih case-case, kalau more than 25, this is severe traumatic trauma case. Kalau less than 9, this is minor. Tapi mana patient dia mati? Okay, something like that. Alright. So ISS. So TRIS is another TRIS actually defined as trauma and injury severity score. It add on your physiological score instead of just anatomical score. So there are the combination of RTS, IFS, mechanism of injury, whether it's penetrating or blunt, and also your age. And it's measured the likelihood of the survival of the patient. Right. Then remember the PS, probability of survival. It is determined using the TRIS. Okay, yang tadi tu TRIS and then determine. This is using the formula. Okay, which I show you on the slide. Okay, I'm not going to read the slide. I'm not going to read the formula. Okay, anyway, it derived from the registry with its coefficient updated every 3 years. Coefficient is B, right? B is a coefficient, and that is the kiraan dia lah. So basically, the B is not a number that we can petik dari mana-mana lah. It's actually when you have a data being input inside your NTR. For example, in our case, then from there the NTR registry itself ada special calculation will actually derive the coefficient for us to use and then determine the probability of survival. Okay, then we move to the certified W statistic, KWS. It's useful to compare between the performance between the centers. Okay, this is because sometimes the injuries ni, injury severity dia mix, dia tak sama, lain. Okay, walaupun nampak sama tapi severity dia mix. Sometimes ada this center case dia banyak, severity dia kurang. Ada sometimes this case case dia sikit tapi severity dia tinggi. So it's not the same. So people use WS atau certified white statistic ni, ada kiraan dia. Okay, yang bawah tu, okay, the formula to look at the performance, to compare the performance between centers. Okay. So this adalah contoh. Okay, saya tak dapat daripada ni tapi saya tunjukkan mana tu outliers. So let's say yang merah ni adalah dia punya performance. Okay, you have a control limits, upper part and lower part of the red. And then in ward A yang situ ataupun ward B. So ward A is a outliers yang positif, for example, and ward B is a outliers yang negatif. So sekarang ni kalaulah dalam satu center ataupun satu negeri ada 5-6 hospital and you want to compare between the center and you use the same NTR, so you may use WS certified W statistic to compare the performance. So kalau dia bagus, contoh kalau dia bawah daripada par, below the par, then the probably in Selangor, JKN will do some query and why this performance is low. So this is where we can go back into the NTR and look what are the pitfalls that actually can happen or happen during this that result in this performance. Or if it's away above the performance line, macam wah bagusnya. So people will look back and then okay, they will investigate, of course, if all the data everything is correct, then why not kita boleh nobatkan dia sebagai a outstanding hospital, for example. So this is a good thing that actually can arrive from a complete ataupun proper registry. Okay, ini right, tak apa. So apapun semua ni adalah readily calculated. So don't have to worry about macam mana nak kira ISS, macam mana nak kira TRIS, macam mana nak kira PS, macam mana nak kira W statistic, certified W statistic. So this is one of the example that we suggest. Of course, there are many other ways. Then this is a long process. Okay, so one of it actually is kita boleh gunakan PS, for example, just now probability of severity. To flag ataupun to highlight which cases ataupun potential MNM cases yang kita nak review. Dalam NTR kita akan flag jika mana probability of survival seseorang pesakit itu adalah more than 50%, tapi pesakit tidak survive or die or death. So this is a potential MNM review untuk death ataupun mortality. But if a PS atau probability of survival is actually less than 50%, tapi patient survive, so means that we expect this patient actually die in this case, but patient survive. Why not we flag it as a awesome and amazing cases to be discussed, to look at the punya the positive impact ataupun things that the team done to the patient actually to yield a good result. So we will learn from the case that successfully managed, and so that in this case macam saya cakap tadi boleh reinforce a good positive habit ataupun positive reaction, and then eventually give a boost your punya confidence level in managing a trauma case. So Do you know, because some other places who actually have established trauma registry, contohnya TAN, yang saya tahulah, okay, they use this as a benchmark to do a budget distribution. Sometimes they use it as a business promotional. So they have this, what they call it, aras lah, tanda aras, the benchmark, okay, untuk kata, oh, this is the level of hospital yang bagus. And also it used to bagi hospital awards and recognition of the excellent performance of the trauma center. So macam kita mungkin paling dekat contoh mungkin NSCTH, something like that, yeah. But then that one is based on your data and your punya ni, how you compose the management part of the hospital hospital side. But this is more to the trauma care, and this is the first trauma registry yang ada kat Malaysia, dan hopefully this will actually kita boleh berkembang lah dengan lebih baik dan menggunakan yang lebih bagus. So mortality prediction, macam saya quote daripada journal ni, saya terbaca lah. Trauma mortality modeling is a uniquely challenging undertaking because thousands of different injuries are possible, and a patient may present with any constellation, banyak-banyak jenis of such injuries. Extracting a single prediction from such enormous number possible injuries combination is a daunting task. So we have to work together, fill up, yang paling penting, fill up in the early phase, fill up the, 3 kali cakap tu, fill up the data properly so that we can proceed with the proper trauma outcome analysis. So these are the reference that saya gunalah untuk presentation hari ini. You can read these guidelines for trauma quality of improvement program, which is consists of 100 lebih muka surat, and also you can go through the website, look at the Trauma Audit and Research Network, or you can go for Australian Commission on Safety and Quality in Healthcare as a guide for you to actually to think about what are the things that we can do in order for us to improve our trauma care using using the Malaysian Trauma Registry. So with that, I thank you.
Currently, there's one question. There is one that says, what is the difference between trauma outcome analysis and also the preventable death review panel?
Okay. Trauma, dua ni adalah perkara yang berbeza, ya. Apa beza trauma outcome analysis and preventable review panels? Okay, preventable death review panels is actually for you to look at the to select the case, and then with the team of multidisciplinary specialist lah. It does not involve only doctors tau. It can involve start my video. Sorry. Okay, they asked me to start my video. All right, so it does not involve doctors, yeah, not specialists. Also can involve nurses, okay, paramedics who actually involved in the care, considered as expert, probably senior ones, to actually come together and review a case and come up with the things that you actually can improve, like analyzing the possible pitfalls and suggesting a possible what is the word, yeah? When you know the cause, then you give a probable ataupun panggil sebagai bahasa Melayu pun tak ingat ya, dipanggil sebagai improvement suggestion, okay, to improve your care ataupun your system. Meanwhile, trauma outcome analysis itself is actually a analysis that you can do. This include M&M, preventable, or things that actually you can discuss in order for you to improve your trauma care. So preventable is just part of it. Trauma outcome analysis is the whole part of it. So there are many things that we can do from the MTR itself. There are things that we can explore and kembangkan lagi untuk memastikan apa yang kita buat ni will yield a good result at the end of the day. Thank you.